the spring of 2009, 17-year-old Brittanee Drexel disappeared without a trace while on a spring break trip in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Her sudden vanishing stunned the nation, triggering a multi-state search effort and years of unanswered questions. For over a decade, her family lived in the agonizing limbo between hope and despair, waiting for answers. Those answers finally came in a courtroom in South Carolina in 2025, answers that pointed directly to a woman named Angel Cooper Vaughs. At 57 years old, Vaughs was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to lying to federal investigators and concealing her role in one of the most haunting criminal cases in recent South Carolina history. But the truth she had hidden wasn't just a legal misstep, it was a decades-long deception that kept a grieving mother from the truth, allowed a murderer to remain silent, and denied a teenage girl her chance at justice. This is the story of how Angel Vaughs helped orchestrate the kidnapping and murder of Brittanee Drexel and how the truth finally came to light. The 25th of April, 2009, Myrtle Beach was bustling with spring breakers. Among them was Brittanee Drexel, a high school junior from Chile, New York. Though her mother had forbidden the trip, Brittanee went anyway, hoping for a brief taste of independence and sunshine with friends. But by the end of that night, she would vanish, leaving behind only a flurry of unanswered texts, a missing cell phone, and a trail of heartbreak. Surveillance footage showed Brittanee leaving the Blue Water Resort at around 8 p.m. She told friends she was heading back to her hotel, but she never arrived. Her phone last pinged near the Pole Yard boat landing in rural Georgetown County, about 50 miles south. That was the last anyone heard from her. For years, Brittanee's mother, Dawn Drexel, launched tireless campaigns, searching swamplands, knocking on doors, and pleading for answers. She appeared on national news, begged the public for tips, and pushed investigators to keep looking. The trail went cold until a tip in 2022 reignited the case. Raymond Moody had a long and disturbing criminal history. A registered sex offender with previous convictions for kidnapping and sexual assault, Moody was quietly living in Georgetown County at the time of Brittanee's disappearance. For years, he remained under the radar, unconnected publicly to the Drexel case until 2022, when new forensic evidence and a confession pointed squarely at him. Moody admitted to abducting, raping, and killing Brittanee shortly after she disappeared. Her remains were finally recovered in a wooded area near where her phone had last pinged. But Moody didn't act alone. Angel Cooper Vaughs wasn't just a bystander. She was, as the federal judge later said, a key participant in this tragedy. For over 13 years, Vaughs concealed the truth not only about what happened to Brittanee Drexel, but also her own disturbing role in the events of that night. When interviewed by federal agents during the renewed investigation, Vaughs told a carefully constructed lie. She claimed Brittanee had willingly joined her and Moody that night, and that after a brief interaction, she left the teen alone with Moody at the boat landing. She denied taking Brittanee's phone and insisted she had no role in what followed. But the truth, uncovered by investigators and later confirmed in court, was far darker.
He was kind of mysterious when I first met him.
Try this.
Didn't let you know a lot about him. Didn't really hang out with anybody. Kind of quiet, not social. Like when we went to places or bars and stuff, he always wanted to sit where his back was like to a wall. I didn't know everything until later on. I didn't know a lot. I just knew he worked, that he's been in California, he was in the military, other than that, and then he was married at one time and had 3 daughters, and then went to prison for a little while. I didn't know how long or why he went for it.
On the night of the 25th of April, 2009, Vaughs and Moody spotted Brittanee walking alone and made a calculated decision to lure her into their vehicle. Vaughs, then in her early 40s, presented herself as a helpful, trustworthy woman offering Brittanee a ride back to her hotel. Brittanee, unfamiliar with the area and likely nervous, accepted. Instead of taking her to safety, Vaughs drove Brittanee deep into the wooded backroads of Georgetown County. At the Pole Yard Boat Landinga remote, secluded area surrounded by thick brush, Vaughs left Brittanee alone with Moody, fully aware of his violent past. But before leaving, Vaughs took Brittanee's cell phone, her only connection to the outside world, and her only possible lifeline. That act sealed the teenager's fate. What happened next was every parent's worst nightmare. Moody raped and murdered Brittanee. He later buried her in a shallow grave, where her body remained hidden for over a decade. From that night in 2009 until her arrest in 2024, Angel Vaughs lived a quiet life in Georgetown. Outwardly, she was a mother, a neighbor, perhaps even a friend to some. But beneath the surface, she carried a terrible secret. She had helped orchestrate the abduction of a child and stood by as she was destroyed. During those 13 years, as national attention ebbed and flowed around the case, Vaughs stayed silent. While Brittanee's mother pleaded on national television and investigators followed false leads, Vaughs said nothing. Her silence wasn't just a betrayal of justice, it was an act of cruelty. She watched as Dawn Drexel suffered, year after year. She watched as Brittanee's family held vigils, posted flyers, and searched the woods, and she said nothing. In 2022, investigators finally received the break they'd long awaited. After renewed forensic efforts and interviews, Moody confessed. The FBI, in cooperation with the Myrtle Beach Police Department, the South Carolina Department of Corrections Office of Inspector General, and the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office, unraveled the full truth. But even with Moody in custody, Vaughs tried to maintain her lead until mounting evidence forced her hand. Under pressure, Vaughs finally admitted her role. She pleaded guilty to lying to federal investigators and obstructing justice. In court, she confessed to participating in Brittanee's abduction, acknowledging that she had taken the girl's phone and knowingly left her with Moody. In July 2025, Angel Cooper Vaughs stood before United States District Judge Richard M. Gergel to receive her sentence, 216 months or 18 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. There is no parole in the federal system, meaning Vaughs will serve the full term behind bars. During the sentencing hearing, Judge Gergel did not mince words. He called Vaughs a key participant and held her directly responsible for facilitating Brittanee's kidnapping and murder. The gravity of her deception and the pain it caused was not lost on the court. For more than a decade, Brittanee's loved ones were left to imagine the worst possible scenario in Brittanee's disappearance while Vaughs withheld the truth, said U.S. Attorney Adair Ford Burrows for the District of South Carolina. We hope Brittanee's loved ones can now have both the closure and a measure of justice that comes with this sentence. May she rest in peace knowing that her mother Dawn was relentless in her pursuit of justice.
There's much from a little girl that we were just a typical suburban family.
Growing up, my sister was my second mom. She was, and she really meant the world to me.
Special Agent in Charge Steve Jensen of the FBI Columbia Field Office echoed the sentiment. This sentence underscores the gravity of lying during an investigation, he said. The FBI and our law enforcement partners will always investigate the facts and hold accountable anyone who distorts the truth to obstruct justice. If there's one constant in this tragic story, it's Dawn Drexel's unwavering love for her daughter. For 13 years, she refused to give up speaking out, demanding answers, and pushing for justice. Her determination helped uncover the truth and bring Brittanee home. Angel Cooper Vaughs will spend 18 years in federal prison, but the pain of her silence will linger far longer. At last, Brittanee's loved ones have answers. They know what happened and who was responsible. Justice, though long delayed, has arrived. Now, as Brittanee rests in peace, Her family can finally begin to heal, carrying with them the truth and the memory of a young life taken too soon.